Chef Julia Dunaway, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Ultimate Weight Loss Bundle. It's released from February 3rd through the 12th, 2023. It's a 10-day offer. So if you're watching this after that time period, it's over. So, but if you're watching it now and it's currently going on, I hope you take advantage of it. A bundle is really a collection of contributions from a number of sources and resources. So for example, this bundle has over 100 and I think the last I looked about 110 different contributions. And they're everything from ebooks to e-courses to workouts, presentations, cooking classes from plant-based doctors, chefs, creators, and it's all focused on whole food, plant-based, no oil, weight loss kind of oriented content. So, and some things are very directed toward weight loss. There are some actual courses and ebooks around areas such as binge eating, which I found to be very helpful, even though I didn't think I really struggled with it. After I started looking at the course from a contributor about binge eating, I thought that it was very helpful. It was helpful to me. It was by Julie Lance. It was called How to Stop Binge Eating and Start Living Again. I really liked that. And there's a yoga teacher certification course. There is the Mary's mini course, if you've ever been curious about Mary McDougall's mini course that helps people get off of a plateau or make some progress. I thought that was a good one. PBNSG, Plant-Based Nutrition Support Group, has contributed a 170-page cookbook. So there are lots of things, and of course, last but not least, I developed a whole new ebook just for the bundle. And it's an ebook, but I printed it out so I would have a copy of it to show and to look at, because, you know, I'm kind of old school. I like printed things. But my beautiful ebook, beautiful to me anyway, my daughter helped me with it, has 70 recipes, all plant-based Japanese. And I really loved making this ebook because I wrote a story about my mother, my Japanese mother, and have a nice picture of her and my father and their story. And I grew up eating Japanese food. My mother was Japanese. She died several years ago, but that's how I became so interested in Asian food, because I grew up in a household where I got to eat it and enjoy it. And I lived in Japan for about 4 years. So my contribution new to the bundle was my ebook called Plant-Based Japanese that I'll be selling for $25 once the bundle's over. But for now, you can get this whole set of 110 plus different contributions for $49. And that's just during that period from February 3 to 12. So if you don't get it then, it's not going to be available later. Now, it's a lot of stuff, and what you do is you download it, or you get the information on how to get to the link to take the class. But you don't have to download all of it. I know in the last bundle I was involved in, people were so worried about having all of this content that they didn't want. Well, you don't have to download all of it. You can pick and choose which ones you really want. So for example, I went through all the different contributions, the courses, the ebooks, and some of course were not that interesting to me, and so I just said, okay, no, I don't really want to look at that one. But there were so many that were, and if I started adding up all the ones that I like personally, and I have lots of stuff, so I really don't need any more things to look at any time of the day. I have things I haven't read at home, but I found several that I really wanted to look at. I found Kathy Hester, who I really like. She contributed 3 of her most popular classes: the stews for the Instant Pot, a dehydrator class, which I've always wanted to know how to really work with dehydrators, and I'm going to really look at that one, and then an air fryer fun. And everyone always wants to know about how to use the air fryer right. I get that all the time. People have an air fryer, but everything they cook in it doesn't turn out. So I'm anxious to look at Kathy Hester's. And then a friend of mine, Elspeth Feldman, the Speedy Vegan, she contributed an ebook from recipes from Costa Rica. So I love everything she does. So I've just been taking notes about all the things in here. Everything from the Vegan Booty book, a guide to sculpting a peachy vegan body. Now, who doesn't want that? I could use that. So anyway, if you decide to do it, great. I hope you do. If not, you know, just buy my ebook at some point if you want it. But I'm doing a series of videos with recipes from my new ebook, and I really wanted to start with an intro about this bundle so you kind of understand what it is. But remember, it doesn't come out until February 3rd, and it's over February the 12th. So don't wait around, because if you don't get it, you won't get another chance. And please use the link that is in the show notes or provided in whatever message that comes with this video, so that you can use that link that applies to my account, so I'll get credit for it. Otherwise, I won't get any credit for you purchasing it through me. So thank you very much for your support, and I hope you decide to get the bundle. I really do think it's worth whatever you pay for it, and you will get lots of value from it. So thank you, and now I'm going to start making some videos. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, I'm Chef Julia Dunaway, and today I'm going to make my Japanese greens. They come from my ebook called Plant-Based Japanese. I have it printed out, but it is an ebook. That's how you get it, but you can always print it out on your computer. Japanese greens are something I eat every day now. I used to just eat daily greens, but I switched it to Japanese greens. And then everybody started asking me, what are Japanese greens? And I said, well, I can't tell you because they're part of a book that's not getting released until February the 3rd. So this is the first time I've really shared this recipe with everybody. I did share it on a private kind of a cooking thing. So I'm going to make them. So what do I make my greens with? Well, I buy these super greens. They're called organic super greens from the grocery store. And I know they come in a plastic box, but now after COVID, you cannot buy bulk greens that are not in plastic anymore. They used to have them like in big bins where you could serve yourself. The only place you can get greens like that is at the farmer's market. And it's winter, and farmers markets are not having that many things anymore. But I also grow a lot of greens. My greens all got affected by the freeze and died, so I've had to buy greens. This year, though, I'm getting some covers for my outdoor garden, so maybe my greens will survive this year. So what do we do? I've measured out 10 ounces of greens because that's what my recipe says. It says to take 10 ounces of greens, and then I have boiling water. Ooh, it really is boiling. And I have a bowl of ice water. We have to have the ice water ready to go. We're going to put these greens in the boiling water. Try not to spill them all over the stove, which I've been known to do. And just put them in, and you'll be surprised. I can fit the whole pound of greens in this pot, but I'm not going to because I'm following my recipe, and my recipe says 10 ounces. And I've got this, it's boiling pretty high. I'm going to do it for 30 seconds. I'm going to set my timer for 30 seconds, and that's all I want because I've made these many times, and longer than that does not work out very well. Timer, timer, timer. Where's the timer when you need it? Okay. So, when 30 seconds is up, I'm going to take the greens out, and I'm going to plunge them right into ice water. 30 seconds is the right time for me because I like them to be very fresh and dark, and I don't want them to be too soft. So this is the perfect amount of time for me, and that's how I do it. Okay, so my 30 seconds is up, and I turn the heat off so they don't keep cooking. And then I take this tool, it's called a spider tool, but you can call it whatever you want, but I've learned it was a spider tool. And then I just take the greens out and put them in the ice water. That tends to work better than trying to dump all the greens out of the boiling water into a colander, because what the ice water does is it keeps the greens from continuing to cook. Now you don't have to put them in ice water. Let's say that you're running short on time. You could just put them in a colander and run cold water over them. That works too. But I kind of like to do it this way. I kind of like to just, have my colander at the sink. I'm going to move you over here. And then all I do is, first of all, I make sure that the greens got some of the ice water on them, because sometimes they're, bunched up together and they're still hot in the middle. So kind of move your greens around. And then I just throw them in that colander and let them drain. And you'll still have a little bit of ice in the bottom, but it kind of sinks to the bottom. So then basically you have your greens and you have, you're trying to get all the water out, but that to me is not enough. So what I do is I'm going the extra mile with my greens to release the water, because it's kind of like if you have salad and it's all wet and there's water on it, and then you try to put dressing on it, the dressing doesn't absorb it well. So what I do to get all the water out is I take a Ziploc bag and I turn it inside out. I know that's kind of weird. And then I just kind of scoop all the greens into the bag. And the reason I do this is it helps get the water out better than if you just use your hands. You can use your hands. I remember watching my mother do this, and she didn't use a plastic bag. She used her hands, and she just squeezed the greens with her hands. She kind of made them into a ball and squeezed. But I found that I could press on the greens better if they were in the bag. And sometimes I'll kind of press them on the countertop like this, and I'll press them, and that helps release some of the liquid. Because I've learned over time that the drier you get your greens, the better they hold up and the better they last in the fridge. If they're real wet, they tend to just kind of, they don't taste as good the next couple days. So anyway, you see how much liquid comes out of the greens, a lot. Okay, so then we could just keep going and going and going, but that's plenty of liquid. But if you could see my bowl, you could see that I'll pour it out, you can see there was a lot of liquid. So then the next step is going to be cutting the greens and seasoning them, and we'll do that next. So now, remember we squeezed all the excess liquid out of the greens. What I like to do is I like to cut them up a little bit, because that whole huge amount of greens, look, it's only this little tiny ball, but this will make, I'd say, about 4 servings. So I cut them into smaller pieces, just because I really don't like to eat giant chunks. I just kind of cut them into little squares pretty much. And then I put that in my bowl. And now I season them. So the seasonings I use are a little bit different from my daily greens. I added some tahini, because tahini is not really a Japanese ingredient. I'm shaking it up. It's not really a Japanese ingredient, but the Japanese use sesame paste. In fact, I bought some super expensive sesame paste on Amazon, and it was the same thing as tahini, but it was kind of dark. I'm going to put a half a tablespoon, which is just a teaspoon and a half of tahini, and you can put less. Like after I experimented with this, my ebook says a tablespoon and a half, so I'm going by my recipe that's in the ebook. But I've been using a lot less tahini because I discovered that I really didn't need that much in there. Same thing, half a tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce. So if you get the ebook and you look in it and you say, oh, I don't want to use that much tahini or soy sauce, just use less. You don't have to use that much. Make it however you like it. And then I have ume plum vinegar. This is not in the recipe. I started adding it, a teaspoon of it, because this is in my other daily greens, and I decided I really missed having it in the Japanese greens. So simple tahini, ume plum vinegar, low sodium soy sauce, and then basically all I'm going to do is mix it up. I'm using chopsticks instead of my hands. But you could, use either way. It probably gets it blended up easier if you use your hands and really mix it. In fact, I'm going to do that because that's how I do it for myself, because it really breaks up the greens and kind of gets all the sauce and everything on all the surfaces. And then we'll use the chopsticks to transfer it to the serving bowl. So basically you want to kind of massage your greens and get all that good, the sesame flavor and the ume plum vinegar and the soy sauce. And oh my goodness, these are the best tasting greens ever. I really crave these greens. It's really funny because, I never thought that I would be saying that I crave greens, but I really do. I'm not just saying that. I eat these with my breakfast every day. Okay, and then I put my serving, which is a half a cup approximately. I don't measure it out. But, you know, a half a cup of greens is Dr. Greger's recommended serving size to eat twice a day. So here's my pile of greens. And Japanese style, your bowl or plate doesn't have to be full of stuff. Have a little space around it, makes it look better. And then the final touch is called Gomaiso, Gomaiso, and I've already made this. This recipe is in the Japanese green beans video, which is also here on YouTube. So you don't have to look for it here because it's already in another video, but I will post the recipe for the Gomaiso on this video so that you'll have it. But how I made it is on that other video. And I'm going to sprinkle this on my greens. And really all it is are roasted sesame seeds. You get them, they're already roasted. The jar says roasted sesame seeds. And then you just toast them lightly in a skillet. And then I just crush them with a mortar and pestle, which in Japanese it's a suribachi. It's like a bowl with grooves in it. And then I added a tiny bit of salt and a tiny bit of date sugar. And that gives it this little extra kick. And there we go. I have my delicious, nutritious Japanese greens that are packed with so much flavor. They're just wonderful. So I hope you make these, and I hope you enjoy them so much you eat them every day. And the greens will keep if you put the seasonings on or not. Either way, sometimes I just make a half a cup at a time and put a little stuff on it. Sometimes I make a lot and share it with other people, so you don't have to make all of it at once. You can also make a whole pound of greens at a time, squeeze them, and they'll keep for about 4 days. And then you can just take a half a cup out at a time, season them up, and eat them. So however you do it, eat your greens. They're so good. And the best way to get your greens, instead of buying them from the grocery store, is to grow your own. So if you can figure out a way to get a little garden plot or a garden tower or something and grow your own greens, that's even better. So thanks for watching this video. If you're watching it during the bundle week, February 3rd through the 12th, 2023, just remember the bundle is only good for 10 days. My ebook, Plant-Based Japanese, is part of the bundle. This was worth $25 just by itself, but the bundle for over 111 items valued at $6,000 is only $49. So I could certainly find plenty to purchase in that bundle that would easily equal $49 and be well worth it. So I hope you get your bundle, but if you don't, it's okay. Eat your greens. If you're watching this after that expires, eat your greens, enjoy it, and you can still just get that ebook on my website, chef-julia.com. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.